Welcome everybody to the Latin Nerds Network. My name is Jose and this is my review for Lisa Frankenstein. This one here is a new kind of comedic, romantic, dark romantic film anyway by writer Diablo Cody, who gave us Juno, which I enjoyed, and Megan's Jennifer's Body. I'm sorry, just starring Megan Fox, a movie which I didn't really enjoy, kind of a quirky horror film a few years ago. This one I was kind of excited about because it seemed like a different take on Frankenstein, right? There's something a little bit unique and different, and I can appreciate that. Here we have a young girl whose mother was killed by an axe murder years before. Now her dad's remarried and she has a new family, but unfortunately she's obviously been traumatized by what happened with the mother. So she's very socially awkward, keeps to herself. She's got a kind of very dark personality, and spends her time kind of just hanging by this abandoned cemetery with this tombstone of one guy named Frankenstein who died a few centuries before, and there's a bust of him on top of the centerpiece, and she's kind of just thinking about him and wanting to be with him, so to speak. And then one day her wish kind of comes true, and if he comes alive out from his grave, the corpse of him anyway. I guess some lightning storm. They kind of don't really show it. They kind of just say a lightning storm came and there it is, right? It's one of the issues with the film that I had. They don't really explore that. It just kind of happens and there he was. He's, trying to find her, and I guess develop a relationship with her, if you speak. So already this movie sounds kind of awkward, but I like that. I like an original take on something, and I was looking forward to seeing what they would do with the subject matter, right? And I gotta say, overall, I was kind of let down. Again, the idea being as original and good, and that's all fine and dandy, but at the end of the day, the idea won't carry a film alone. You have to kind of execute the idea and make it interesting and fun and entertaining. And this movie, not that this movie is awful, this is not trash by any stretch of the imagination, but I thought it was a big misfire. Ultimately, in terms of the comedy, I wasn't laughing very much. And granted, I'm not the target audience for this film, to be fair. There were other people who seemed to be enjoying the film in the screening. But nonetheless, for myself, I just wasn't laughing as much. I like, again, the idea, and I was hoping they would take the idea to kind of just, because it's a zany, ridiculous idea, right? This corpse comes to life. He enters the house, he freaks out and understands who he is and figures out who he is. And little by little, they find ways to kind of put them back together. And this relationship that's being built that leads to, unfortunately, a lot of people getting axed as a result. And they find ways to kind of make him just become more human by, I don't want to spoil it, doing the things that they do and in a manner of how they do it. Nonetheless, ultimately, they, I guess, strike their relationship and all that. And fair enough. Again, it sounds zany, it sounds ridiculous, but you can have a lot of fun with that. And I was waiting for that to happen. And just even like the monster Frankenstein himself, who was just hanging out in her house half the time in the film. The other time was her really trying to get together with some other guy. So they didn't really spend time really earning that relationship at the end of the movie when they get together. It's like, well, okay, it felt kind of just pushed. Like, okay, well, the other guy's out of the picture. Let's focus on them. In the last 5 minutes of the film, it was kind of weird. Even her herself, she wasn't very likable. She kind of gains confidence as she's dealing with this monster and does things that just seem out of character for her. I didn't quite get it, not for me anyway, and it just wasn't enough laughs. Now, I'll say this, the last 10 minutes of the film was exactly what I wanted out of this movie. I just wish we had more of it. Again, I won't spoil it, but the situation where she's with the monster and they are trying to do something or something bad occurs and it's off the wall. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I wanted to see more of, and what they do and what happens with that is actually funny. Now, that's one of the few parts I actually laughed. I thought, man, we waited an hour and 30 minutes to get here, and by that time I was already checked out. The movie should have been like that from the beginning, just really off the wall, crazy, zany, taking this premise, and maybe having her with the monster, whoever, the corpse, and going to school with him and really get into his weird situations as people are trying to figure out who the hell is this guy. They got a lot of fun with that, but they chose to go a different route with it. And again, good idea, bad execution at the end of the day. Not a huge fan of the film. I'm not going to recommend it. Again, not the target audience, so I might be the best person to take advice on this film. But just looking at it objectively, it didn't make me laugh. It wasn't. The idea was good, just not explored well enough. Issues with the writing in terms of the characters, so forth and so forth. I'm judging it from that standpoint, but ultimately, I just wasn't entertained. At the end of the day, that's all you could ask for, right? Did it entertain me? No, it didn't, as much as I would like to. Not a horror film, but not one I'm recommending you guys go watch either. That being said, if you guys do, comment below, let me know what you guys thought. And if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed money to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.